Good day, fearless artists, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, please click on the subscription button and also on the notification bell so that when I upload a new video, you'll be among the first person to get the notification. In this video today, I'll be showing you how to cut and sew a shred pants. This is also known as smoke pants. Without further ado, let's jump straight into the tutorial. The materials and tools you'll be needing for this tutorial is this African print. I have a smoke thread here. I also have a matching thread. Make sure that you use a thread that matches the color of your fabric. I have my staple to take measurements, 1-inch elastic for the waistband. I have my ruler, my chalk, and my pins. The first thing you need to do is to fold your fabric. To get the width of the fabric that you want to fold, you have to divide your hip circumference measurement by 4, add 2 inches to it, and add extra 6 inches to it. So when I did mine, I have 18 inches. So the folding I have on the table now is 18 inches. After folding your fabrics, the next thing you want to do is to move down 1 inches from the top edge of your African print or any fabric that you are using. So this line you want to roll is the top line where all your vertical measurement will be taken from. So I'm going to move down 1 inch from the top edge of this fabric. Then I'm going to roll a straight line. So this line is where all our vertical measurements will be taken from. After rolling the top line, you want to go ahead and mark your side waist to knee measurement. For this project, I used 2 inches for the waistband. So it was after I finished stitching the pant that I noticed that 2 inches was too much for the waistband. You can use 1 inches or 1.5 inches. So place that 1 inches or 1.5 inches on the top line and measure your side waist to knee measurements. After marking, make sure you glue a line across that mark. That's your side waist to knee. So from the center front, move in by 6 inches. So that's what you're going to do now. You're going to mark 6 inches from the center front, the way you see me doing, up to the side waist to knee measurement. Then you rule a straight line. Connect your mark points together like so to get a straight line. The next thing you want to do from here is to mark 1/4 of your waist measurement on the top line, and make sure that this measurement is taken from the vertical line that you just drew. So I'm marking 1/4 of my waist measurement. So the next line I will be marking is my crotch depth. And when taking this measurement, remember to move your waistband amount like so. Place it on the top line before taking your crotch depth measurement. My crotch depth is 10.5, so I'm marking 10.5 at this point. The next line you want to draw is your hip line measurement. My hip line is 8 inches. I went ahead to draw the hip line as well. So on the hip line, I'm going to mark 1/4 of my hip measurement on the hip line. I'm taking this measurement from the vertical line. I extended 1/4 of my hip measurement to the crotch line like so, with a straight line. From that straight line, you are going to mark your front extension, which is 2 inches, and you are going to connect it back into the hip line with a curve like this. Remember the 2 inches you added when you wanted to fold the fabric. So from this point, the next thing you want to do is to shape your pant. So I'm marking 1 inches from that vertical line, and this 1 inches I'm going to connect it back to the hip line. Now you want to add the 1 inches back. So I've added my 1 inches, then I'll connect it back to the center front of our pants, connecting it to the hip line. So this is what we have. Remember that the front waist of your skirt or your pants is not straight, I'm moving down half inches from this point and connecting it back to the side seam of our pants. Now I'm going to measure from the vertical line to the front extension. I will divide this measurement by 2. So when I divide it by 2, I have 6 inches. So I'm going to mark 6 inches from the vertical line on the hip line. After getting the center of our pants, you are going to mark quarter of your knee measurement on both sides of that mark of the center line. So I'm marking 4 inches on both sides because my knee circumference measurement is 16, and when you divide 16 by 4 you have 4 inches. So I'm marking 4 inches on both sides of that center line. After marking the 4 inches, you are going to connect it like the way you see me back into the hip line. You shape your pants. So now we have a side seam. You are going to connect the other 4 inches back into the center front. After drafting your pants, the next thing you want to do, you want to add the threading amount, like the smoking amount. So remember the 6 inches you added to your measurements when you wanted to fold the fabric. So from the side seam now, you are going to mark 6 inches. See where I place my table, I'm marking 6 inches from that point. I'm marking it on the hip line and also on the waistline. This amount for the shredding amount of the pants. So after marking the 6 inches, you are going to connect these lines together and cut it out. And when you cut, don't forget to add your seam allowance on the waistline and also on the front extension of the pants. You can see I added half inches. Now this is what you should have after cutting the front part of your pants. Now I've gone ahead to place the front of the back. So remember that this is the front and this is the back. So I've placed the front on the back. So the first thing you want to do, you want to add the fold. Remember we have half inches seam allowance and the back fold is what? Is 2.5 inch. So you are going to place it on the half inch allowance and measure 2.5 inch from here. 2.5 inch. So from this point, I'm just going to curve this in using my what? My curve. So that's that for the back. So remember, you move down half an inch before you do that. You can see this one is up and this one is half an inch below it. That's that. So on this part, not on the seam allowance, on the waistline measurement, actual measurement, not on the seam allowance, you move in 1.5 inch and you're going to move up from that point. You are going to move up 1.5 inch as well. So from this point that you make, so let's make sure that you pin this down. Sure that, yeah. So from this point, you are going to mark the hip measurements. Imagine you transfer the hip measurement notch. So from this line, you're going to just connect this to the hip measurement and you connect it back. You see what I did? I connect it back to the hip line and I connect it back towards to my crush. That's that. So the 1.5 inches that I move in from, I'm going to add it here. I'm going to add the 1.5 inch here. You can see it. I'm going to add it here. So I'm going to curve it into the hip line of the pattern. The 1.5 inch I moved in here, I've added it back here. So from this point, I'm just going to connect this 1.5 inch to this part. So this is what our back pattern is looking like, and that's all. No much different from what we have at the front, and that's all for the back. So like you did for the front, you're going to add 1/2 inch sewing allowance to this pattern. You see, I'm going ahead to add my 1/2 inch sewing allowance to my pattern. The rest, everything is the same. You have to do just so this is the front and back of our pattern. So this is what we have. This is what the back look like, and this is what the front of the pants. Let me separate the two pieces so you see what they look like. This is our back. This is what we have for the back. I hope you can see this. This is what we have for the back, and this is what we have for the front. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to cut the flare at the down part of the trouser. I've gone ahead to cut the waistband. The width of my waistband is 5 inches, and the length is my waist measurement plus 6 inches. And as for the gathers that we are attaching to the knee parts of the pants, it measures 60 inches. You are going to gather these 60 inches against the remaining length of the pants. I've gone ahead to thread the back part of my pants, and this is what it's looking like. Can you see what it's looking like at the moment? And this is the front part of our pants, and this is our smoking thread. So what you just place, you see what we have here? This is our smoking thread, and this is our vela. You just place it on it like this, and you take it round. Don't pull, you take it round until you are done. You just take it round. So you continue like this, you take it round. So you continue taking it round. And this is what the smoking thread should look like after you're done rolling it on the roller. The next thing you want to do, you want to set the stitches of your machine. I'm using the longest stitch on my machine. If you are using the manual machine, make sure you set your stitches to the longest stitch. That's all. Then when you want to thread the fabric, make sure that the right side is facing you. You are stitching from the right side, and you pull a little when you stitch. So you continue like this until you get to the hem of the pants. So guys, I'm back, and this is what we have. This is what you will have after stitching them down. This is what you should have. This is what your pattern should look like. So the next thing, you want to place the right side on the work side like this. And you just want to go ahead and pin this down. That's all you want to do. Just want to go ahead and pin this down. So once I'm done, I'll bring it back for you guys to see. So once you pin it down, this is what you should have. So this is what you should have. I've done for this one. I will pin the back. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine, and I'm going to be stitching them down. That's all. Dearest, I'm back, and this is what we have at the end of the day. You are going to place the front against the back, and you're going to pin side seam to side seam together. So once I'm done, I'll take it to the sewing machine and stitch them together. So this is what you should have after you are done stitching the front and back pants together. You can see the back is a bit higher than the front, so that is how it should be. So the next thing you want to do is to work on the gather part of the pants. As you can see, I've created 2 rows of stitches. I'm going to use this stitch to gather the fabrics together. So take your time, don't rush. You can see what I'm doing. Just pick it up the threads and pulling the fabric. So you can see I've gone ahead to gather everything together. Yeah, gone ahead to gather everything together. You can see what we have. So after you finish gathering, you just want to bring the 2 right side like this, and you want to stitch it up to the end. And once you are done, you stitch it up to the end. Go ahead, once you pick the wrong side to wrong side, side to right side, go ahead and stitch it up to the end. As for the hem, you're just going to fold in and finish the hem line. So once I'm done, I'll bring it back for you guys to see. I've stitched the side seam and I've finished the hem. After that, I gave it a nice press, and this is what the gather part of our pants is looking like. So now we are going to pin this to the new part of the pants, the thread pants, and I'll take it to my sewing machine and stitch them together. decided to fit my skirt to show you guys what the skirt look like at this point. You can see how beautiful the skirt came out, and it's looking so lovely. As for the waistband, I've gone ahead to join the side seam, and the elastic band measures 5 inch shorter than my original waist. I'm going to fold the waistband in half, then pin it to the waistline of our pants before taking it to the sewing machine and stitch it on the pants. And remember to add your elastic when stitching the waistband on the pants. I'm done stitching, and this is what our pants look like at the moment. If you like this video, please give this video a thumb up, like and share my video, and if you have any contribution and suggestion, the comment section is open for you.